Hello and welcome everybody to the niftiest, 50th review video that you will find on the internet. Today I'm going to talk about an entry-level lens that I feel everybody should own in their kit, or at least should start with to get themselves acclimated with some different lenses outside of just your kit setup that most camera rigs come with. So this is the Canon 50mm prime aperture 1.8 lens, and it has very little features to it. It has an autofocus and a manual focus dial, or a switch I should say, and a very small focus range. So for those that are more video than photo and you manual focus, it is a little bit tricky to do as opposed to my 24 to 72.8, but it isn't that bad, and if you're, it can be worked around and you can get used to it. But I want to dive right into some pros and cons of this lens and explain why this is a great beginner's lens for anybody who's on a budget, wants something new, and is just really willing to give it a shot. So let's roll some B-roll and we'll get right into the review. So the first thing that I'm going to mention about this lens is how small of a form factor it really is. It is a very nice small lens. It's very lightweight. It's very great for those who just want to take a good to-go lens. They have a lighter body. This is my T3i, and it's just very easy to go on the go wherever it is that you want to go, and it really does give you great images. I'm not going to deny the fact this is still a very well-produced lens. It's very durable. It's very comparable to really anything else that I own in terms of build quality. I think for the $125 US price tag, you can't go wrong getting this if you need something that's a little bit out of your comfort zone with the kit lens and you're just starting out and you want to upgrade to something better. It has a 1.8 aperture, so the depth of field that you can get is incredible. I have found that it is shallow enough with the 1.8 that if you have like a card stock, I took a picture of a card that I had received in the mail, and I couldn't get the depth of field through the whole distance of the card at 1.8, which was kind of awesome for me to realize. You know, I'm taking this picture, I'm really used to my 2.8, and it would have worked fine with my 2.8, but I'm like, I cannot get this, I'm sitting at a 1.8, and that's exactly why. It produces great image quality for $125. It definitely does not rival the really, really high-end lenses or the more expensive versions of this lens. But for this not having any image stabilization or any extra features other than just it being glass, manual, or autofocus, it is fantastic. Drawbacks with this being such a lens, though, is right now I have the camera off. You cannot focus the camera with the camera off. It is only an electronic lens, and you cannot do any sort of focusing with it off. Any other lens that has some focus range, for the most part, you'll find that you can still look through your viewfinder, get a good focus, even if the camera's off. If you're just derping around or whatever, you can still, you know, mess about, focus your camera, focus your lens when the camera's off. It also protrudes a little bit. So one thing that I found when I'm done recording or done taking photos for the day is I will just slide it right back in there. I really don't see it doing any harm to it, but it makes it easy because, whoops-a-daisy, then you can stow and go right away, and it's just very nice and easy. It sports a 49mm thread, so if you do filters, you're going to have to keep that in consideration. And I think it's just really a great lens. And this is going to be kind of a short video because there really isn't much to say about this lens, but I want to just give those who are new to photography or videography and want a great light picture quality lens, this is the one to go. I think getting a prime as your first lens beyond kit is a great idea because it forces you to move forward or move back to your subject, and it really makes you think about a composition because a 35mm prime or an 85mm prime will give you two different focus aspects, if you will. And I guess I'm using the Sigma Art system as kind of the go-to example here because their 35 is great for a wider angle, their 50 is great for a little bit of both. And their 85 is really good for just pinching in, getting that good portrait shot, and everything like that. So I really like 50 as a beginner zone because it gives you a little bit of grace between still, showing enough of your composition while still being close enough. Because if you're buying a beginner camera, it's most likely going to be an APS-C format. It's not going to be a full-frame camera, so it is going to be a larger equivalent zoom as opposed to what it labels as a 50mm because that's on a full-frame sensor. But that being said, I feel like 50 is still a good distance. It gets you a good punch, and I think being at 50, it forces you to really take a look at your subject, at your composition. Do I move the subject back or forward? Do I move myself in a different position? And I think it's just a great way to learn some aspects about photography that I don't think you would otherwise have learned. Being able to just zoom back to 18 if it's an 18 to 55 or whatever the case may be. I think it's just a great place to be and a great place to start. Another con about this lens is the color fringing is god-awful. So you want to be careful when you're using this lens in bright daylight because any sun or any light that bounces off of your subjects in just the right way as you're seeing here will cause a lot of color fringing, and it does produce an undesirable image. And you can fix this in post, but when you take away a lot of the, I call them the chromatic aber purples and the chromatic aber greens, the chromatic aberrations, depending upon what color purple or green that is, you can eliminate a lot of the saturation of the image itself. If you have a purple subject or a green subject, more likely than not, you will lose the saturation completely of those colors in that subject, because really all that removing chromatic aberrations does in post is it takes the saturation of that color and just drops it to zero so it seems gray or grayscale, so that it doesn't really look like that light is bouncing off in a different way and it looks more just like a part of the bokeh. So it is easy to fix in post, but you have to be careful, and you can fine-tune what color range those chromatic aber purples or aber greens will be, but it's just tricky. So just keep that in mind as you're using this lens for your whatever. Purple subjects, green subjects are going to give you a little bit of a hassle. But if that's not something you're worried about, or you don't have subjects of those colors, it's really nice. You can fix it in post. It's not a big deal, and you'll still get amazing pictures out of this lens. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that this has given you some insight on this lens. If you'd like to buy this lens or check it out with some further details, check the link in the description. I will have for you just to get some price checking or what the current price is with any Black Friday or midsummer deal. You'll find a good price on this lens, and I really hope that whoever you are in whatever stage of photography you are, you can get something like this in your kit. It's really helpful, really makes you think outside the box. It's a great prime, it's a great focal length, and I really think that if you do get this lens, you'll learn a lot, you'll take a lot of great pictures, and please, if you do have this lens, send me some pictures of what you've taken with it, or if you get this lens, based on this review, send me some pictures of whatever it is that you take with this lens. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something here. I hope that you got some better insight on something great for everybody, great for beginners, great for experts as well, if you just are missing this focal length in your kit. And I hope that we can all take some cool photos with it. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great day.